Yes, hello again, and I'm happy to be here and to present our Moodle version or Moodle modifications for the Firefighter Association. Um, uh, we are, as a university, we have a cooperation with some local firefighter association, and they start to support local firefighter organizations in the state of Europe, of Saxony in Germany, and they train their members with some online courses and with some some quizzes for how to do certain things, how to communicate with certain persons, and so on. But they also teach children or smaller firefighter organizations things about fire safety. And to support these small organizations, they give some applications to them to organize some events, to give some trainings, and so on. And until now, they get around 1,600 per year. And whoops, yes, they use the Moodle for their education, and they. All these applications are done by handwork. They get some mail, some paper mail, they get some phone calls, and so on. And in the end, they decide if this small fire department for children gets some support, or even if not. And in the Corona time, they tried to reuse these pre-existing Moodle for their own for other things, and call us how to modify this Moodle so they can give these applications or manage these applications by their Moodle, because many of the people don't want to learn new platforms, new things, and so on. And therefore, they give us some requirements. They want a digital application, digital application submission, more or less automatic reviews, and some communication with the applicant, and sending the approvals to them, and billing some submissions, and so on, and so on, and so on. So the whole process. And more or less, this is similar to what we have if we have a question for a student, filling out some formulas and give some answers to some question of the teacher, and in the end, he give a grade, more or less. So we take or produce a Moodle course and modify it in a slightly way so that they form application form to be used by the firefighters. And because they know Moodle, so the introduction to this application and the way how to use it and so on was not so much. For technical details, the course is, or we use one quiz for one applicant, for one application, and put in some questions to fill in the information of the organization or the person who wants some support. And to get some custom wordings like the firefighters need, we modify the language to we reuse the language model for getting some custom wordings. And we will see it later, we modify the overview plugin to get some review functionality, which is a normal overview plugin doesn't have at the moment. This is, whoops, wrong key. This is one example of such an application. And as you see, the person can give some information about the title, getting some unique IDs auto-generated, get some other information, or put in some other information they need, and that's it. And for doing all these things, we only use short answers. Wow, this the short answer type from the normal Moodle, and sometimes some multiple choice questions. And for grouping all these things, we use description and modify them by some CSS and maybe some kind of HTML. And for instance, in this way, we have a title, put in some text, and some hidden fields, and mainly modify the questions by modifying the main HTML, which is part of the question. And in the last question, or the last element of the applicant, we put in all our JavaScript code, so we can access all the fields and modify what we need for filling out the application. And we do some kind of data input checkings, if they are correct, if they are plausible in some ways, and so on and so on. And also to generate some unique IDs like this one to identify each application over the time. And also some read-only fields only for information of the applicant. Yes. And this is a part the applicant can do and put in all this information, and after this, the reviewer gets this modified overview plugin where he can give some calculations and see in the upper part, in the lower part, see all the applications and can give some gradings, let's say, if he accepts this application or give some other values to them or whatever, or get in contact with the original author of the applicant. Genau. After this, he can also give some. We trigger some auto-generated application form. An approval form, I mean, given with the information of the applicant to move by email to the applicant to get a certificate or some kind of approval. They have that some kind of money will be given to them. The problem with this, all of this, is that, like typical things in this way, it evolves over the time. In the first moment, they say, oh, we need a little application with some forms and so on, nothing big. But after some days, they know, oh, we need some more states, we need some other things, and so on. And over the time, you get such a more or less big graph. And the first time it was only a part in the beginning. And so we have to add more and more functionalities to the system and get it in a more complex way. And after all, we do the same or similar to the billing, because they need to give all the bills to the association, and then the association say, okay, we accept this and this and this, and the other not, and gives you some money. And with this, we create a second form in a similar way, also heavy modified quiz, to get all these billing information from the applicant to be processed also in a more or less automatic way. Similar, a modified overview plugin, and in the end they get the final approval that they get this kind of money, and then they get their money by bank transfer. Okay, thanks you for for attending. And yes, now I'm open for questions.
Thank you. Just Francis.
So I don't want to monopolise the questions, but I was just curious. You said you built a lot of this using the quiz module.
Yeah.
I wondered why you chose that rather than, say, something like the questionnaire module, which to my mind would be a more natural fit for something taking free-form answers like that. Or was it just not something you considered?
In the first moment, we get only the information. Okay, we need a little kind of form to put some informations in,
Right.
and that's why the most easy way was to produce a quiz to get the information from them, and after some time, we get more information about what we need this, and we need this, and so on, and so on, and so on. And so it evolves over the time, let's say, and that's why we use this quiz and this structure in this way.
Thank you.